Okay.
So actually, in our economy since 1971, America has fallen into this ego system where everything has to always be growing. So when you look at the stock market, everything you have to always be trending up and to the right. It's this pressure that we have created in our economic situation. That's why even like we say, hey, Netflix is failing. It's like, really? Look how many people build, million, I don't know the data, but it's a lot of people paying them still monthly, but they're saying they're a failure now in the stock market, and there's worry about their future because they've plateaued. Well, we should say, well, good job, Netflix. Look how many you got. Let's celebrate. But we have an embedded growth obligation. It's never, ever enough. And that's what we put on our own self. We're born into a society with an ego problem, embedded growth obligations. And so I remember so many times as a church planter, there's numbers. I thought once I hit that number, then I'll be happy. Guess what? I hit the number and go, well, once I hit that number, I've done it on the YouTube journey. Once I hit 5,000, once I hit 10, right? It's just never ending. And so I actually talk about, it's called the crisis limitation. And I think all of us are experiencing it post COVID or during COVID of, oh my gosh, my life's not what I thought it would be. And it's terrifying, right? I'm not as successful as I thought I would be by now. One of the most annoying things I hate to hear, both from church planning world and YouTube world, is just give yourself 3 years, do it every day, and then you'll blow up. Well, homeboy, I've been doing this for 7. What's your answer now? And it's super frustrating. And so what happens is typically for men, we either become super conceited, we inflate ourselves and we act like we're better than we are. So we begin to lie and live in deceit and build an image that we're pretty amazing, or we get wounded and we no longer try anything anymore because we are so defeated. We hate ourselves, as you were saying, because we're not as great as we thought we were going to be. But the answer is we're not to be conceited. We're not to be wounded. We're to be limited. We're just limited people. Paul talks about, hey, God gave me this sphere of influence, and praise God for this sphere of influence. And so that's what I'm trying to learn. Like, I am limited and I'm going to enjoy those limitations because I think every limitation is put on by God. And I think it's a sign of grace because I've met pastors with thousands of people and they're pretty stinking miserable. Not all of them, but some, there's no magic bullet. And so to give yourself that grace, it's so liberating, but it's a really difficult journey. So that's why, how do I define success? It's not greatness, because I think that's other people's determination and I can't live based off the opinions of others. But what I can do is choose goodness. I can say, you know what? The right thing to do today is this. The person to serve and to love today is that person. And I think by you do that, days at a time, weeks at a time, months at a time, you're going to be able to have the blessing one day to look back and go, wow, look who I have become.